Thank you very much, Jennifer. Yeah, this is a great lead-in for us. My name is Mark Hall, CEO and founder of Revalue.io. We are energy efficiency project developers and implementing the Alameda County Green Healthy Homes program. Some of you may be familiar with the program. I believe that they had one in Marin and a few different states, but pretty much it's where you look at these projects holistically. Some of the speakers today I've talked about preparing homes for electrification and the need to insulate, and do that air sealing. So what we've been able to do, I just explain this picture here, is actually look at code complaints and permit data and actually identify where folks are already complaining about heating issues, air quality issues, home health hazards, and we actually provide a training through the Cypress Mandela Training Center here in Oakland to address those hazards. So we can move to the next slide. So yeah, these are just a few pictures of some of the trainings that we've done. The first one on the bottom left there is over at the Cypress Mandela Training Center. That's an energy audit class that we're doing with some of our trainees, just getting them prepared for the initial assessment. And then on the right there, you'll see that's actually Ben Cooper from the BayREN program, actually teaching some of our interns about spotting some of the opportunities for efficiencies and old equipment that are ripe for electrification. And then at the top right, it's just sort of a collage of some of our different trainings there, because as has been mentioned here, today a few times, the lack of contractors, the lack of skilled labor is a real issue. So we saw it getting into doing these projects and are been working on a program to address that. So we can move to the next slide. So yeah, another thing that we've talked about is the upfront costs, and this is the Green Healthy Homes No Wrong Door model. We have a lot of really awesome partners that we work with to bring these electrification projects to our communities, folks that are a lot of times not as familiar or have as many resources. So we work with public, private funds and different resources in order to deliver that whole holistic project. So we can move to the next slide. And so this is just an overview of how it works. We contact customers and then take them through the energy audit and home health assessment, review to identify those home health hazards like mold, lead, things like that, and then package that in with the energy audit report, and which a lot of times is going to also include that electrification. So we can move to the next slide. And this is just an overview of what we're looking to do in 2022 with our tech grant that we were recently selected for. We're going to be providing, similar to Sonoma, an actual demonstration site of this equipment at the Cypress Mandela Training Center. Actually have a few of the systems there for contractors to actually see, touch, and learn on. We'll have a few trainings there, as well as for their labor force. And we're also going to be providing a pipeline of projects to the contractors that come through our training that we've already identified. So basically matching the project subsidies, with existing projects that we have, and at the same time training the contractors that are going to be servicing those. Because again, that's what we saw when we got out and began doing this work, probably about 2 years ago. It was really just a lack of contractors in our communities to do the work. So we can move to the next slide. So yeah, this is just a few stats about the lack of diversity. You can see, I think it's pretty small print there, but I believe it's like the third bullet down on the far left. It just talks about, like, I think it's 87% of the folks in the building science industry are white males over 55. And so when we have a growing industry, market transformation going on, and a lack of worker capacity, period, and then a lack of diversity, it's basically a solution, a recipe for a really great opportunity, is really the way that we're looking at it, and a way to really create some local jobs and some sustained careers. So we can move to the next slide. And then these are just a couple of pictures, what we heard from contractors getting out and sort of bootstrapping this work before we were able to get this grant, is that they were not as much interested in attending a lot of our talks, but they wanted to actually get contracts and actually start doing work. And so we put together like I say, basically a bootstrap training to get them signed up with BayREN, connect them with the local programs to get them certified. And then we just started feeding them projects, and word of mouth has basically been our sole means of marketing. And several of the projects here on the lower left-hand side there, the customer reached out through the Alameda County Asthma Start Program about some air quality issues. So we provided an indoor health assessment for them, and actually was able to install a HEPA filter there for them. Moving on to the next project on the right, that is the Northern California Community Land Trust, where we were able to fully electrify their units there. That's about a 7-unit property, and then get the solar on that as well. And then just on the right, there's a few examples of some of the indoor air handling units that we installed. You can sort of see where we identified some water damage initially, found some lead paint. We were able to get them sealed up, do the insulation, as well as put a new roof on and take care of those leaks for them. And then, obviously replace the gas furnace with the mini split. And so we can move to the next slide. And yeah, and this is just another few pictures of our workshops. Bottom left there is I think that's the first one that we held at our offices in West Oakland. That was in 2019. Then that's in the next one over to the right, is actually at the Cypress Mandela Training Center. And that's actually the site where we're going to have this demonstration equipment, similar to Sonoma. We're in conversation with a few different manufacturers currently. Thank you very much, Energy Solutions and Peter for helping out with that. And then on the right, that's when we actually that's the first one of the first projects we were able to get some of our contractors on. And so we're probably about 30 or 40 projects deep into the pipeline now. But we're really happy to be able to take folks from not being signed up, not really doing this work, to actually being out. And one of the ways we were able to also accomplish that, and another shout out to the BayREN team, is connecting with some existing skilled contractors and partnering some of the less experienced contractors with some of the folks that are more familiar. So that was a good connection. So we can move to the next slide. And that's it. Yeah, that's us. So yeah, we'll be working on this Quick Start grant this year. So feel free to reach out to us directly, and I'll be around for questions. Thank you.